This is Audible.
Bloomsbury presents Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. Read by Elizabeth Evans. Part 1. The King's Champion. Chapter 1. The shutters swinging in the storm winds were the only sign of her entry. No one had noticed her scaling the garden wall of the darkened manor house, and with the thunder and the gusting wind off the nearby sea, no one heard her as she shimmied up the drain pipe, swung onto the windowsill, and slithered into the second-floor hallway. The King's Champion pressed herself into an alcove at the thud of approaching steps. Concealed beneath a black mask and hood, she willed herself to melt into the shadows, to become nothing more than a slip of darkness. A servant girl trudged past to the open window, grumbling as she latched it shut. Seconds later, she disappeared down the stairwell at the other end of the hall. The girl hadn't noticed the wet footprints on the floorboards. Lightning flashed, illuminating the hallway. The assassin took a long breath, going over the plans she'd painstakingly memorized in the 3 days she'd been watching the manor house on the outskirts of Belhaven. 5 doors on each side. Lord Neral's bedroom was the third on the left. She listened for the approach of any other servants, but the house remained hushed as the storm raged around them. Silent and smooth as a wraith, she moved down the hall. Lord Neral's bedroom door swung open with a slight groan. She waited until the next rumble of thunder before easing the door shut behind her. Another flash of lightning illuminated 2 figures sleeping in the 4-poster bed. Lord Neral was no older than 35, and his wife, dark-haired and beautiful, slept soundly in his arms. What had they done to offend the king so gravely that he wanted them dead? She crept to the edge of the bed. It wasn't her place to ask questions. Her job was to obey. Her freedom depended on it. With each step toward Lord Neral, she ran through the plan again. Her sword slid out of its sheath with barely a whine. She took a shuddering breath, bracing herself for what would come next. Lord Neral's eyes flew open, just as the King's Champion raised her sword over his head. Chapter 2. Celaena Sardothien stalked down the halls of the glass castle of Rifthold. The heavy sack clenched in her hand swung with each step, banging every so often into her knees. Despite the hooded black cloak that concealed much of her face, the guards didn't stop her as she strode toward the King of Adarlan's council chamber. They knew very well who she was, and what she did for the king. As the King's Champion, she outranked them. Actually, there were few in the castle she didn't outrank now, and fewer still who didn't fear her. She approached the open glass doors, her cloak sweeping behind her. The guards posted on either side straightened as she gave them a nod before entering the council chamber. Her black boots were nearly silent against the red marble floor. On the glass throne in the center of the room sat the King of Adarlan, his dark gaze locked on the sack dangling from her fingers. Just as she had the last 3 times, Celaena dropped to one knee before his throne and bowed her head. Dorian Havilyard stood beside his father's throne, and she could feel his sapphire eyes fixed on her. At the foot of the dais, always between her and the royal family, stood Chaol Westfall, captain of the guard. She looked up at him from the shadows of her hood, taking in the lines of his face. For all the expression he showed, she might as well have been a stranger. But that was expected, and it was just part of the game they'd become so skilled at playing these past few months. Chaol might be her friend, might be someone she'd somehow come to trust, but he was still captain, still responsible for the royal lives in this room above all others. The king spoke.
"Rise."
Celaena kept her chin high as she stood and pulled off her hood. The king waved a hand at her, the obsidian ring on his finger gleaming in the afternoon light.
"Is it done?"
Celaena reached a gloved hand into the sack and tossed the severed head toward him. No one spoke as it bounced,